In this video, I'll be showing you different types of interface through which you can create an agent using Microsoft technologies. Now, as you see in the diagram, I'll be exploring the agent tooling components. Now, there are different personas like an end user, the maker, and a developer. Now, all these different personas can use different systems to build an agent. So for an end user, the end user can make use of agent builder to create an agent. Makers can use Copilot Studio to create an agent, and developers can use Copilot Studio, Visual Studio, GitHub, or maybe Azure Foundry to create an agent. Now all these different personas have different role to play. Now an end user does not know much thing technical about the agent. They just know they want to build an agent, but with a minimal configuration. Now, yes, the end user know the agent should have a name, agent should have a description, and maybe attach some sort of a knowledge source to an agent so that the agent can be twe- tuned and tweaked as per the user's request. Now, Copilot Studio for makers basically gives you some more advanced functionality. It is for maybe a low code or no code kind of a user who understand how the agent functions, but not at a great depth. uh, they know about knowledge, they know about actions, they know about topics, they know about the internal tools which will aid agent in providing the response correctly. So Copilot Studio is like the next step. So if you are very new to building an agent, you start with the agent builder. So you have got a limited set of capabilities, but then once you gain that understanding of the nitty gritty of an agent, you can start using Copilot Studio. So that means the makers much more advanced than the end users to build an agent. Now, if you really want to explore the in and out about the agent, then the next step is for the developers. Now, the developers can actually configure at a root level the functioning of the agent. Now, many things get exposed in terms of agent development process. So you have an SDK, so you have a core level detailed information which you can edit, configure, and manage using different tool set. So you can use Visual Studio, GitHub, Copilot Studio, and also using Azure AI Foundry to build those agents. So I'm going to explore all this different kind of toolings within the Microsoft ecosystem. So let's jump into the demo. So here, first we will go into the agent builder. So the URL is m365.cloud.microsoft. So I'm assuming that you guys have license of Microsoft 365 Copilot. And if you navigate to m365.cloud.microsoft, here you'll be presented with an interface to create or provision an agent. So on the left hand side, it will give you some information about the inbuilt agents or the agent which you have built. Also, there are some ways through which you can save the conversation, create a page, configure the conversation, and save the page, and you can perform various operations. Now, this is how the agent will look like in m365.cloud.microsoft. So here you provide the prompt, here you attach some of the context, and you have an option to provide a mic input as well. Now, there are ready-made prompts which have been provided for you to explore the agent, and you can also view some of the content just by clicking on this. So if I click on the ready-made prompt, it will automatically fill in this information, and then you can start working out with the agent. Now, as you see over here, there is a way through which you can create an agent. So if you go into all agents, here you can see all the out of the box agent which are built by Microsoft. I have created a couple of agents over here. I have an option to create an agent. Now I'll click on create agent, and here I'll be able to see the interface. So I have a couple of options: describe and configure. So describe will be just type in using natural language what exactly do you want this agent to do. Configure is more like in terms of providing some name, description and instructions, and also you have an option to specify a knowledge source. Say, take for example, if I create an agent called as Girish profile agent, so this is all about extracting information from my website. So I'll just say in the instruction, this agent will use information from Girish public website and provide information to user. So here I have an option to specify a knowledge. So let me add a website. So let me go into all website, or I can just remove this or specify a URL. So I'll just say https colon slash slash, and I'll specify any website. Okay, now here it will pick up that URL and then it will start passing those information. So this is a simple agent which I have just asked the Copilot Studio light interface to create for me. Now remember, this is not Copilot Studio, but it uses the Copilot Studio uh, code base to create those agents. As you see, you get very limited information to configure, like the name, description, instructions, knowledge, and there are other things which enables the feature set, like the code interpreter and image generator, and also it gives you some suggested prompts as well. Now once you're done with it, you can just create this particular agent. Right now, if you have an option to select the template as well, but in this case I don't want to specify any template, I can go to configure, I can specify some information. This agent will provide information about Kirish. So this is just like a profile agent which I have asked the agent to create. Now here you can also test the agent. So here you get an interface in your chat, and then you can test the agent from here itself. I'll go ahead and click on create, and then it will start creating an agent. So this one is for end users. So if you have seen the diagram which I just showed you, this one is for the agent builder for end users. So limited configuration information, 3 or 4 parameters, and then we will be able to create that particular agent. Now this agent is created successfully. Let me go to the agent, and then this is the agent. So I will just say list out certifications by Girish, and then it will go into the website and it will start extracting the information. So now I have just given you list out certification by Girish, and it has just find out fitness related badges and certification through this engagement, like walking, running, cardio. But I didn't ask for a specific information. I can just type in show professional certification by Girish, and it has given me some prompt. I will just use that. Now, as you see over here, it has still not given me some information. So let me ask, say, list out the projects, or maybe I will just say list out the hobbies for Girish, and it will navigate to the web, and then it will start giving some information about that particular page. So it will only first check the index page, and then it will give you that result out of it. Now that's about creating in the agent builder. Now the second part which we will make use of is by going into Copilot Studio. So in order to go to Copilot Studio, I've already put it as a bookmark, copilotstudio.microsoft.com or copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. Now here, this is mainly for makers. So makers can go ahead and click on create, and then click on new agent. There are various ways through which you can configure a managed agent, or start with an agent template. Click on new agent, and then here you again get that similar kind of an interface, but this time you get something more. So you get describe and configure. So it's kind of a similar interface. You can also view the preview of the agent. If you go to configure, here you get name, description, instruction, knowledge, suggested prompt. Now here I will just type in, let's call it as a cricket agent, And I have an option to either specify some instruction or knowledge. I will just go ahead and click on create. Now what it will do, it will create an agent named as cricket agent, and it will try to interpret what this agent is all about, as we haven't provided any sort of description or a knowledge base. Now once the agent is created, there will be many area which will get opened up. So first thing to note is on the top bar you get an option to select the knowledge, configure tools, create multiple agents or connect to an existing agent, create topics, look into the activity analytics, and then publish into multiple channels. So these were not available in m365.cloud.microsoft, right? So that was not available in the agent builder. Now you got lot of flexibility here. You get an fixed flexibility to look into the orchestration part. Now you can use a classic or a generative orchestration. You can configure instructions, knowledge source, configure the web search, add a tool. So you get a lot of options. If you click on add a tool, click on new tool, a new interface opens up which will allow you to configure the prompt, agent flow, custom connectors, REST API, model context protocol. And then once this agent is configured, you can even use like an agentic kind of an interface. So you can set up your agent to activate when certain events happen. You get multiple topic suggestions like the suggested prompts over here. And once all this is created, if I go into the settings, you get a whole bunch of settings available. You can even select the GPT model. Now as you see, you can select multiple GPT models. You can connect to another agent. You can configure the response formatting. You can configure the content moderation level, and so on and so forth. So there are a whole bunch of settings, like you see agent details, security, connection settings, entities, skills, voice, language, component collection, etc. So as I mentioned to you, like this is mainly for the makers. So we are talking about this part. So Copilot Studio for makers. Now makers get a lot of flexibility in terms of selection, but again remember this is kind of pro code and low code kind of an approach. Now let's jump into Azure AI Foundry and see how we can build agent using Azure AI Foundry. Now, in order to go to Azure AI Foundry, let me open another browser. So here I'll go to portal.azure.com, and here I can go to Azure AI Foundry. So I've already created a couple of resources within Azure AI Foundry. Now the concept of Azure AI Foundry earlier was building a hub, building a project. So if I select hub over here, so I have this hub, North Sydney Parramatta Sydney hub, and then within that particular hub, if I navigate, I will be able to see projects. So I can create multiple projects. Now let me go into Azure AI Foundry. So the shortcut is ai.azure.com. If you navigate to this, you will be able to see different projects which I've created, like the Parramatta North Sydney. Now, if I click on new project, I'll be able to create another project and specify the region and the corresponding hub. Now, if I navigate to one of the project, then here I will be able to see various models which I have deployed. So these are the models which I've already deployed. This was related to GPT-4o kind of a model. So as you see, the model name is GPT-4o, type is Azure OpenAI. Now here you can navigate within one of the models. So if I go into one of the models over here, so I will be able to see the model endpoint, and also I can see the endpoint, the deployment information. And as you see on the right hand side, I have an option to select the programming language like the Python, JavaScript, REST, Java, C Sharp. So if I select C Sharp, and I have an option to select OpenAI SDK or the inference SDK, and then from here I'll be able to see the authentication details. Like I just need to replace the API key, and everything is all sorted out. So it installs the dependencies. If you click on this particular link, it will run a basic code sample. This is the code which you can see. Now all the nitty gritty within the agents, like how the deployment is configured, how the endpoint is configured, how you chat with an agent in terms of putting the system chat message and the user chat message, and also the configuring the output, how you want the output to be configured. So these all things are already present in this, and you have an option to go to open in VS Code, and then you can go ahead and open this particular agent. You go to models plus endpoints. So here you can deploy different models. So I can create a new deployment. I can deploy a base model, or I can deploy a fine-tuned model. So if I click on deploy base model, I'll be able to see all the different models which are currently available. So as you see over here, there are more than 11,126 models which I can use depending on the different format. So if I click on GPT-5 chat completion, I can see different capabilities and the model variant. I can select GPT-5 mini, and then I can see the capability and the model variants, and then I can confirm, and then this will be able to deploy that specific model. Now let me go into the project itself. So if I go into the projects, now this is the project which I have. Here you will see an option called as build and customized. So if I click on agents, I have an option to create an agent. First, I need to select an Azure OpenAI resource. Now, I have already created an Azure OpenAI resource. Click on Let's Go. Now, what it will do within a project, it will allow me to create an agent in Azure AI Foundry. Now, here in Azure AI Foundry, it has identified that against that particular Azure OpenAI resource, there are a couple of models which have been deployed. Now, as I showed to you, there were like a couple of models which are deployed already. So I can select GPT-4 over GPT-4 Sydney. I'll select GPT-4 Sydney, click on next. Now, again, this one which we are talking about is like a person who is of type developer. So developer has full control using Visual Studio, GitHub, Azure AI Foundry to build an agent. You can also download a lot of code from GitHub repository to just get a jump start on building the agent. Here you can go ahead and click on new agent. So I'll go ahead and click on new agent, and here I can specify the agent ID, agent name, deployment type, agent description, the knowledge. So as you see over here on the right hand side, I can specify the agent name. So let me call this as, say, pickleball agent. And here I can select the deployment. So I've selected one of the deployment over here. I can specify the instruction and say this agent will only talk about pickleball. And I can specify the description. So I can give some description to this agent. I can attach a knowledge source. So knowledge gives the agent access to the data source for grounding the responses. So I can attach files. Now, if I click on add, there are not only files, but I can configure the Azure AI search indexing, SharePoint, Bing search, Fabric, ground with Bing custom search, and then there are other third party sources as well. So I'll just close this. Actions, if I click on actions, I have a code interpreter, I have a logic app. I can write a custom function or use an Azure function and use OpenAI specified tool. Then we have connected agents. So if I have any other agents which I've already created, like I have created agent 912, which you can see over here, I can use this agent as a sub agent and then connect to this particular agent. I have other options to control the temperature and the top P configuration information. Or top P is similar to the temperature, but this controls randomness but uses a different method. So I can even configure at that level. And once you're done with it, you can just try this agent in the playground. So let me try this agent in the playground. So if I click on try in playground, then it will give you that interface through which you can test the agent. Now here, as you see, you can test your agent by sending queries, then adjust your agent setup to improve the agent's response. Now here I can start typing the query and the agent will start providing me information. Now I haven't configured this agent correctly, so it I may or may not get the response back. So I've just typed in a prompt, what is pickleball, and then it will go ahead and start invoking that model and give me that answer back. So this is like it has given me some information. I can tweak, I can format this information depending on my requirement. And apart from that, in Azure AI Foundry, you can do a whole bunch of other things. You can trace, you can monitor, you can configure the prompt flow, content understanding, fine tune your model, and then you can even protect and govern in terms of evaluation. Now, I won't go in much depth about Azure AI Foundry because the whole purpose of this video was to show you different type or different ways through which you can create an agent in Microsoft ecosystem. Now we have covered Agent Builder, m365.cloud.microsoft, Copilot Studio, and then Azure AI Foundry to build an agent, depending on what kind of users you are and how knowledgeable you are in terms of developing an agent. If you are end user, Agent Builder. If you are a maker, Copilot Studio. And if you're a developer, make use of Visual Studio Code, GitHub, Azure AI Foundry, so that you can configure the agent at nth level depth. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.